Tuesday?
It is Tuesday.
It's the first day.
It's the knockout
Of the Cup
round.
quarterfinals. Here we go. First
Okay.
up, Mavericks at Thunder. That one's
What a game, by the way.
Eastern. Okay, so let's go. So I'll give you some nuggets here.
Okay.
The Mavericks have won 7 straight, 11 of their last 12. I got it. And during that stretch, they went 5-1 when Luka was out for injury.
Oh, man.
Are they the biggest threat to win this whole thing?
You like that, Lou?
Lou, you like that one?
Just, yeah.
Look at me growing on TV.
Is who the biggest threat to win the
Mavericks.
The Mavs.
I mean,
Biggest
listen,
threat to OKC.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think if they win this, I'm just going to give you a little early predicting
Here we
here.
go, predicting.
If they win this game, they're going to win the NBA Cup. And listen, it's always been them. They've always been right there. They're coming off such a great year going to the finals last year, and they got better. They add guys like Grimes, like Najee Marshall. They bring in Klay Thompson, who's healthy, who's knocking down shots. You know what you're going to get with those two dynamic guards in Kyrie and Luka Doncic, but they're better, and they've had the continuity of this core with PJ, with the bigs. If they're making the trade for Daniel Gafford last year, they went on that run. It's never been a question about this team and their scoring. They're ranked 4th in offense. They're top 10 in pace. They're going to push the ball. They're going to flood you with these two-man games, these ISOs to where you can't double team because they're so electric and dynamic on that offensive end. It's just, can they defend? And right now, they've made big progress. They're the 8th rated defensive rating team in the NBA. So can they sit down? Can they dig in? They can defend and get stops in the half court. When Kyrie's having an off night, when Luka's turning the ball over, can they get back in transition? Can they capitalize on things like that, which they didn't really do in the past? So I think the Mavs, they're starting to figure out, they're starting to turn the corner. They're getting more from guys like Spencer Dinwiddie now when one of the guards go out. So I do. I think I've always been a big Mavs fan, and now they're kind of starting to put it together here in the early part of the season.
I mean, that's a hell of a predicky, Danny. He
Yeah.
says if they win tonight, that's it. They're going.
I'm not going that far. I do think that they are the biggest threat to the Thunder. I do not think they win the Cup game.
Kind of sucks they got to play first round.
It's a tough,
I love these
first
games.
one.
I
wish this was the Vegas games.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
This is why
Great
I picked
point.
somebody else. But I think it's just one of those situations where certain teams have your number, right? I think Dallas right now has OKC's number. It's kind of like Golden State and Boston. For some odd reason, Boston just has some mental block when they play Golden State that they just don't play their normal game. They don't show up as the championship Boston Celtics we've known them to be. And I think for most part of the battles, I think Golden State's gotten them. I think this is the same with Dallas and OKC. And I think you could say the same for, Atlanta and Cleveland. Cleveland's been unbelievable this year,
that's a weird
but
one.
Atlanta's beat them twice. We'll see if they beat them, the rest of the season. But there's certain teams that I think just have you figured out or have a mental hold on you. And I think as of right now, as it stands, Dallas.
Atlanta has beat the
Cleveland twice.
Cavs twice and lost to the Wizards twice.
Yeah.
It's a weird game. It's basketball. We love.
It's just the matchup sometimes.
Lou, that's SGA. That's his Thunder squad there, and it seems to be a very heavy Dallas favorite panel this morning. How are you feeling about this?
Yeah, I still like OKC. If OKC is going to win the Cup, or I'm going to stand pat, and I picked the Atlanta Hawks. I was on some hometown pride, and so I'm stick with that. I like how my guys playing down there at State Farm Arena. So if not OKC, is going to be the Hawks for me. But man, the Western Conference all over the place. I don't know how to feel. Like my common sense is being betrayed. I want to root for the Dallas Mavericks of the world. I want to root for the Denver Nuggets, but right now, Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies are right there in that conversation. You got Jalen Green and you got Sengun down there in Houston doing their thing. These young guys are showing and proving right now, and so my popular opinion isn't being proven to be right now. So I don't know how to feel about the Western Conference.
I love this. Yeah, tomorrow we'll have the other games. Talk about this article, Danny, the recent top 25 under 25 article. I love it. So official. Yeah. They had Tyrese Halliburton ahead of Jalen Williams in those rankings, and Draymond took issue with it, which I think a lot of people might actually take issue with this one. Should Jalen be higher than Tyrese Halliburton? Yes,
as it stands right now, I think this was last year during this time.
Sure.
It would have been hands down Tyrese.
2 months ago is hands down. So before the season started, it was Tyrese.
Before the season started,
I'm
yes.
saying a year ago, Tyrese's stretch of going off was around this time. And this is where he made All-NBA. And he's still a very good player. I think he's a very good player. But the standard or the expectation that people have for him because of that month stretch or 2 month stretch was hard to keep on him. He's a very good player. And so Jalen is an up-and-coming young star. And he's showing that, especially with Chet being out, with Isaiah being in and out of the lineup. And most nights, leading them, not just offensively, but defensively as well. Him being that guy, he's proven to be, up there in that conversation. It should be ranked higher than most guys under 25, and I think should be higher than
yeah.
Be a good game.
These, like Danny alluded to, these rankings change so frequently to where if you would have asked me literally 2 months ago, I would have said Tyrese Halliburton is not even close. We're talking about the guy that Team USA won, and the guy who was one of the hottest players in this NBA Cup last year, who kind of surprised everybody with the Pacers being this, kind of competitor last year. But yeah, now obviously you look at the team success of the Thunder, you look at the statistics alone, Tyrese has had a pretty bad start to the season. You can see he's frustrated. The other night you see him on the bench kind of brushing off teammates. Like he's frustrated because he hasn't found his rhythm. Now it also depends on what you have, who you're gonna take of these guys. If I need a point, they're completely different players and they're both studs. But like right now, yeah, like obviously with the stats that are in front of my face, I have to take Jalen Williams.
Do you think Tyrese's struggles has to do with his finding a rhythm with Pascal?
I guess, but he was pretty elite with him last year early, and that Rick Carlisle offense with the pick and roll and the three.
They got Pascal at the deadline, right?
Yeah, but
before that, Tyrese was balling. After that, he played well, but then they never. I feel like he plays the backseat a lot to Pascal.
Yeah, and I just do think with that Carlisle offense, the way they play pick and roll, the way they get up and down the court, and Halliburton, I said this last year, he's one of the last true point guards. Like he's not a guy that's going to go and want to even get you 30. He's not going to take that many shots. He takes care of the ball. I'd like to see his assist numbers up. His assist being 8.4 was nuts. He should be averaging 12, 13. He should be leading the league in assists.
Yeah.
So I don't care about the points necessarily. I care about his assist to turnover ratio, and I care about him only averaging 8 assists because he's playing the games. His usage rate is still high.
Yeah.
He controls their offense. He has the ball a big chunk of their possessions. So I'd like to see that up, but again, I think he's going to figure it out. I think with Carlisle's offense, the system in which they play, I think he's still just trying to get comfortable. He's coming off such a hyped year where expectations were higher than ever this year for him.
He became like a household name for a lot of people.
He became a star. He's on national commercials, and so it hasn't been the start to the season that he's wanted, I'll tell you that.
It's a tough